What I'm about to tell y'all I haven't heard before, so I doubt you have either. Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days what would have taken 5 years.
The WNBA's ticket sales, attendance, and viewership have alarmingly decreased, and the team was ousted from the playoffs last week due to Caitlin Clark's absence.
Look at this little chart right here. The Fever will have over 600,000 fans in attendance total this year. And the second best to that was in 1999 with the Washington Mystics at just over 400,000. So the Fever are going to account for over 200,000 more fans this year to their game.
A.A. Wilson is currently being heavily promoted by the WNBA in an attempt to draw viewers, but sadly, it isn't working.
Caitlin's departure, do we think that these new WNBA fans are going to stick around for the rest of the playoffs? The Liberty Aces series might be one that draws some numbers. The disparity between 1.8 million and around 400,000 is wild, especially with football season being in full swing.
While some supporters acknowledge that Caitlin's absence is problematic, others see it as an opportunity for her to get better media training because they feel her responses to controversies have been inadequate.
I don't want to be in this situation next year where I'm saying, do you remember when you people were giving her grace, saying that she's 22, media training is not there. 1 year afterwards, she's still in the same position.
Returning to Caitlin supporters, they have simply stopped watching the WNBA due to the hate she was receiving, as well as the bias against her during the big games. Now that she is out, they are unable to handle it and have finally come to understand what the Caitlin Clark effect is. As Caitlin puts her feet up and finally relaxes, the WNBA will have to fight their way through the playoffs, doing their best to scrape even half of the viewers. As a result, Caitlin did not receive a third game against the Sun, despite her outstanding performance.
Number of viewers for WNBA games that Caitlin Clark is not in is like 3 to 4 million. When she's in the game, when it's her game playing, it's like 17 million.
Yeah. Well, I also look at the attendance in the arena.
Yes.
It's 8 to 10,000 everywhere else. Caitlin Clark, 17, 18,000.
The WNBA has experienced ups and downs over the years, but it's no secret that things have altered significantly since Caitlin Clark joined the league. Clark, a generational talent, has given the WBA the excitement and attention it has long craved. Her influence was instantaneous, not just in terms of her domination on the court, but also in terms of how she drew admirers, media attention, and casual watchers.
Caitlin Clark, she is the first Division I player, and that is male or female, to record 3,000 points, 900 assists, and 800 rebounds.
Clark is more than just a famous athlete. She is a phenomenon who has revitalized the league. However, since her season ended following the defeat to the Connecticut Sun, the league is finding it difficult to sustain the momentum she created without her. It appears as though the WNBA has reached a breaking point, unable to duplicate the energy that Clark's presence brought.
All the women that have been calling for the equality, and now that there is the chance for them to start getting paid more because the exposure's up. Because it's her, you have people like, what's her name, Jamelia Hill or what? I can't stand her.
Yeah.
You got these women who are coming on here and they're saying it's because she's white.
In fact, the WNBA has completely fallen off in many ways, and it's become clear that Caitlin Clark's absence has caused a dramatic downturn for the league. When Clark was on the floor, the WNBA felt alive, the buzz, the hype, the excitement. It was all their people who didn't typically tune in to women's basketball suddenly became glued to their screens, eagerly waiting to see what Clark would do next. Let's face it, without Clark, the WNBA is missing its spark, and the numbers back it up as viewership and attendance have taken a noticeable dive. Predictions heading into this playoff season had anticipated strong numbers, especially following Clark's breakout regular season in the league, and its fans were optimistic, hoping that the interest Clark generated throughout the season would carry over into the playoffs, creating a surge in audience engagement and viewership. But those projections didn't materialize. Instead, since her exit, the stadiums aren't as packed as expected, and the TV ratings have taken a nosedive. To put things in perspective, when Caitlin Clark plays, she consistently draws in over 1 million viewers. That's right, 1 million people tune in just to watch her. This kind of viewership is nearly unprecedented for the WNBA in recent years, as the league had previously struggled to pull in such massive numbers. People arranged their schedules around her games, ensuring they could catch her live either by attending in person or watching from home.
There is a Caitlin Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball ratings. Kudos to her. She has elevated an entire sport in viewership.
The WNBA can hardly draw 300,000 viewers per game without Caitlin Clark, which is a startling decline in viewership that speaks volumes about her significance and influence. When Clark is on the court, people want to watch her play style because of her personality and her ability to deliver in clutch situations, which makes her an athlete who transcends a sport. But when she is not participating, it seems like no one cares.
Caitlin Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better. I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player, Cheryl Swoops, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlin Clark and what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game.
The league, which was flourishing when she was playing, now seems to be hobbling towards the finish line since there isn't the same amount of interest. Not only is Clark a fantastic player, but she is also a unique athlete that people find captivating, and when that phenomena isn't evident, the interest, although fades, can score from anywhere, drop dimes with accuracy, and dominate games on her own. Her influence extends much beyond the stat sheet, and the WNBA is rapidly losing the interest it had during her breakthrough season. Few athletes are able to transcend the sport like Caitlin Clark does. She adds a level of energy, excitement, and unpredictableness to every game she participates in. You never know what she'll do next, but you can be sure it will be something special. This is why her games attract sold-out stadiums, and why millions of people watch her from home, because she is more than just a player.
Caitlin Clark, #1 in jersey sales, Angel Reese 2, Sabrina 3, Kate Martin 4. We talked about this earlier in the season. I feel sad that Kate Martin also hasn't gotten as much playing time the second half of the season. I feel like she deserves more, or maybe she deserves a different team. How crazy would that be if she went to Indiana? Just saying.
She is unquestionably captivating. She doesn't simply play basketball. She puts on a show every time she takes the court with her fearless demeanor and deep three-pointers. Fans are drawn to Clark because of her unique ability to make every game feel like an event that you don't want to miss. They feed off of her energy, passion, and unwavering drive to win. However, when she's not playing, the WNBA loses that magnetism and becomes just another basketball game, which regrettably doesn't draw the same attention. Even the most devoted WNBA fans find it difficult to stay involved without her presence because the excitement she brings is irreplaceable, and when she's not playing, the excitement fades, leaving a noticeable void that no other player or team seems to be able to fill.
Cheryl Swoops, all y'all other haters out there, and I'm gonna call you out, man, because it's blatantly obvious why you're hating on the young lady. If she was black, man, everybody be going crazy about Caitlin Clark right now, but she not. And what I appreciate about it is just that. She ain't stereotypical.
The way the WNBA appears to handle Caitlin Clark when she is playing is what aggravates fans the most. You would think that a player of her caliber, attracting large audiences and elevating the league, would be protected and respected on the court, but this has repeatedly happened. Referees have treated Caitlin unfairly, refusing to give her the same calls that other players in the league would readily receive. Whether she is fouled on the perimeter or hacked on drives, the whistles hardly ever seem to go her way rather than acknowledging her skill and guaranteeing a level considering how crucial Clark is to the league's success. It's puzzling that playing field officials have continuously permitted her to be treated like the problem on the court. It's almost as if the WNBA doesn't recognize that she is their greatest asset. Rather than promoting and safeguarding their rising star, they let her be mistreated. The league doesn't want her to succeed, or worse, doesn't care about the detrimental effects of this treatment. Fans on their audience are aware of this and are fed up with it. They can spot when a player is being unfairly singled out, and the ongoing prejudice against Caitlin has made many of them lose faith in the league. Rather than encouraging the enthusiasm and devotion that Clark brings to the WNBA, this abuse is driving fans away, leading them to wonder about the league's goals. Even though Clark's fans are extremely devoted, they are also tired of the hate, bias, and treatment Caitlin receives on the court. Whether it's from rival players who single her out, referees who seem to be harsher on her than anyone else, or even the league itself, it frequently feels like there is an agenda against her. Rather than celebrating their biggest star, the WNBA seems to allow unfair treatment to continue, and as a result, many fans have reached their breaking point and have stopped watching.
And it looks like we're not going to be seeing Caitlin Clark play basketball again for another 200 days. An ESPN reporter said at the end of the Indiana Fever Connecticut Sun Game 2 that Caitlin Clark almost definitely will not be playing basketball this offseason. So no overseas and no 3-on-3 unrivaled league.
Fans' decision to boycott WNBA games following Caitlin's elimination from the playoffs isn't just about her absence from the postseason. It's about the underlying principle. They've seen how she's been treated throughout the season, facing prejudice from officials and a lack of protection from the league, and now they're expressing their disinterest in a product that doesn't defend or promote its best star. Without Caitlin, many fans feel cut off from the WNBA, and this is evident in the sharp decline in viewership. Clark's fan following is loyal to her, not the league as a whole, and without her participation, they wouldn't have any incentive to keep watching. This indicates that the WNBA's failure to treat Caitlin fairly has caused a backlash that is currently hurting its financial results. The harsh truth is that the WNBA will suffer greatly without Caitlin Clark. Prior to her arrival, the league frequently struggled to keep its mainstream attention. Sure, there were well-known players and a devoted fan base, but the general public's interest was lacking, and the league frequently found itself eclipsed by other sports and found it difficult to enter the larger discourse. It is evident that Cait Clark has single-handedly revitalized the WNBA, and without her, the league is once again facing an uphill battle. Caitlin Clark changed all of that, but now that she's gone, the WNBA is reverting to its previous state of struggling to attract the public's attention. The interest that once surged during Clark's games has now faded, and the league is struggling with a lack of excitement.
1 year. I think more than
1 year.
I'm just giving it from
all she's doing is she's only in the gym, back and forth in the gym. You're telling me that no one can tell her anything.
You can't say that, Ola. You know she's doing a lot of stuff. Because I was in college for 4 years, and it took me a while to get media trained.
Clark's presence alone has the ability to shift the conversation and make the WNBA a topic of conversation. But if the league doesn't support her and referees continue to treat her disrespectfully, they might lose all she has worked so hard to create for them. All of the gains Clark has made for the league might be undone if it is unable to adequately safeguard and promote its brightest star. Additionally, the WNBA must acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is more than simply a fantastic basketball player. She is the face of their future, attracting viewers and packing arenas. Without her, the league is likely to revert to its pre-Caitlin Clark problems. Clark has changed the perception of women's basketball on her own, but the WNBA runs the risk of losing all she has worked so hard to achieve if they don't back her.
Fever Game on Ion still averaged 1.26 million viewers, which is so impressive.
Despite all of this, Caitlin Clark's season was nothing short of historic. She shattered records in about every statistic imaginable: scoring, assists, shooting percentages, and more. Whether she was pulling up from deep three-point range or threading the needle with precise passes, it's perplexing to see such a generational talent treated with contempt or ignored by the WNBA's power that be. Rather than supporting Clark and using her as a symbol of growth for the league, she's frequently portrayed as a problem, either on the court with unfair officiating or in media narratives that fail to celebrate her contributions. Clark redefined what it meant to be a dominant player in the WNBA. Her performances weren't just impressive, they were groundbreaking. This abuse must end immediately, and the WNBA must acknowledge that Caitlin Clark is their key to mainstream success. Otherwise, the league would be at risk. Falling back into obscurity, the WNBA must safeguard and promote its best player if it hopes to endure and prosper. Caitlin Clark, if you liked it, please like and subscribe. There are now more videos available.